And good afternoon, Chris.
Good afternoon.
Thanks so much for having us today. Yeah, this is a WAIMM initiative to profile and show the whole world people we believe are shaping the industry, they are driving the industry in their own way. In a way we refer to them as our heroes of change.
Okay.
And then so actually you are part of them, and we really want the whole world to know who you are. We can't hide you forever. Because if I can say a lot about you. Who is Chrys?
Well, I don't know how to answer that. Just a simple engineer, basically driving change, like you say. At the end of the day, it's all about the impact that you make in all the things that you do, basically. So for me, it's engineering. I mean, it's survey, it's civil engineering. I mean, it's earthworks. It's basically that, and innovative ways of doing the things that we've conventionally done. That's basically what it is for me.
How did you all start? I mean, did you have prior interest, or you were pushed into it, or could I say it was by accident?
Well, I mean, it all happens to us by accident, some way, somehow. I didn't step out to be a surveyor for that matter. I had other things I aspired to. But at the end of the day, I was supposed to have spent 2.5 years studying it because of strikes. I ended up spending 4 years. So I said, look, let me just give this a shot, see how it pans out. And I had my first job with AGC of WASE. From there, I left and joined Civil Limited as a surveyor. I went to 1998, and then I left for mutual resources. From there, it has been on and off, the ocean exploration, and then data exploration. But with data exploration, I went on as a survey consultant with CBM surveys. And that's how come CBM surveys became those are the foundations of CBM surveys.
Well, you had at one time been involved in mine planning as well.
Oh yes.
It's not always been surveying for you. I mean, there are times where deeply involved. Did you enjoy that experience?
Oh yes, I mean, I think that's
one. And a follow-up question, how did you fit in?
That was the dimension. It was an opportunity that was given. Like I keep saying that, look, the things that happen to us, you might think it's by accident. But I always believe that, I mean, we all have the things that we believe in. I mean, I believe in God, basically, and I believe that whatever the things that we achieve, it's by some form of divine, if you want to use the word intervention. You can look at it from that perspective. I worked with one Andrew Aitchison, and then he was the one who said, look, it looked like I had the qualities of someone who could run in that kind of role as a mine planner. Because I've done a few things from the beginning. I've done some task observations, I've done training needs analysis. So he said, look, it looks like the kind of head I had could play around the mine planning thing. So I gave it a try. Started off with looking out for new infrastructure locations at that time. And that's how it started. So it was a long-term mine planning role, which had to do with life of mine issues, not the short-term stuff. So, and that's how I got into it. And I think that's what gave me my perspectives with regards to most of the things I do today. Yeah, it's the foundations for me.
Because I still want to take you back a bit. You've been almost everywhere in West Africa. I mean, I wouldn't want to name it. You've been everywhere. What has really been driving you?
And look, it's all the same message. It's making a difference. It's making an impact some way, somehow. Look, it makes me money at the end of the day. Let me not hide that fact. It's not about the money. The money is a byproduct of a solution. That's how I see it. If you solve a problem, you make money. If you don't solve any problems, you don't. And for me, that's basically how it has been. So I look at it from running through from Burkina Faso, through Ivory Coast, Guinea, all the other places that we've worked. It's always been a challenge that has been created by a different group or a different person. And then we try to step in to fix it.
Yeah.
So we've had to work around simple transformations when it comes to surveying. It comes to understanding how data was captured different times and how we think data should be captured. Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why we want to move into more innovative things. I mean, we always look at the industry, how the industry is changing. We were using the old total stations. They're using robotic total stations now. You're using reflectorless. You're using stuff that you don't have to target yourself. So at least those are the innovations and the things that we are trying to keep up with. We've also gone ahead and acquired drones, at least because we believe that that's basically where survey is going, or that's where engineering solutions are going. I mean, it gives you an informed decision, and that's basically it.
And then, I mean, I'm looking at trying to get this out. You see, you've been in mining, you've been everywhere, exploration. Let us look back, trace it to today. Are we getting anywhere near professional development? Is professionalism really coming out?
Well,
or are we there?
Well, it's a very debatable issue. I mean, we can debate it for a long time. Some people might think that yes, we have come far. Some might think that we have not. At the end of the day, it's people.
Yeah.
It's a people thing. So it depends on how far we have come as individuals, or how we have developed those who form part or who form the bulk of the industry that we are in at the moment. And we have graduates coming out now, and basically the quality, well, needs, for me, a little bit more to be desired. I mean, there are very simple things which you look at and tells you the quality of people that you have to work with. I have employees, I've had quite a number of them, I've dealt with many of them, I know the ones who have it, I know the ones who with a little push would have it, and I know the ones who would not get it. Come what may. I mean, I can't, well, that's my opinion, really. You see, so it's a matter of the tooling. Well, you get them the tools to do what they have to do. You give them the exposure. You give them the training. You send some of them out for conferences and stuff like that. By the end of the day, the personal attitudes or the personal drive of the person is what makes the difference. I have other mates. Fair enough. Many of them have accomplished. By the end of the day, there are differences between what we have done. You get it? And all that has to do with the fabric of the person, who the person is, and the exposure the person has had. And I think my experience in mine planning and working with some of the top guys, as it were, at the time, has given me a different perspective of how things should be. I mean, we don't want to look back at, not wanting to get too much into technicalities.
Yes.
I mean, in the past, we looked at procedures. I mean, how have those procedures borne down into our day-to-day activities today? I mean, from the past to where we are now. Engineers look at it from the perspective that it's a border. Just a border. I mean, all this paperwork for what? By the end of the day, that is what drives the change that you're looking for. If you can't document and mark what you have done in the past, you will not be able to determine where you want to go.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a gap between where we were, say, 10 years ago and where we are today. We've talked about procedures over this last 10 years, but what difference have those procedures made? Made some difference anyway, but the impact of that difference doesn't really show in the quality of the kind of engineers you have coming up.
What's been your biggest challenge?
People. And people, if I can say people again, my biggest challenge has been people. I've always said, at the end of the day, it's a matter of solving the problem. You get it. You have a problem. You have green fields that you want to survey, or you want to start exploration. That's your need. And then I come with a solution that, look, I can come to a total station, give you a center line, a baseline, and then you have an answer to your problem. Now, I need people to go and cut that line. And that's people again. So now they have to come to solve my problem of giving you your solution. And that's basically how it goes. So if you look at it, once you are dealing with people, and tooling them is not a problem. It's a challenge. Well, let me not use the word problem. Tooling them is not much of a challenge. I mean, if you don't have the equipment, you can rent them.
Yeah.
You get it. So the tooling is not a problem. How to do it is the problem. So you step up, you come up, you say, look, these are the procedures, this is how I want my work to be done. You get your backside orientations, you get your orientations on the ground. This is how you want it to be done. Between what you want to be done and what is done is where my main challenge is. And then after you've done what I've asked you to do, you are not able to report to me what you did. And that is where we can see the gaps and then improve on what we do.
Yeah. And then drones.
Yes. Drones.
How did you get it? I mean, I wonder if anybody had thoughts about using drones to take. I don't know. I mean, it's innovative, all right.
Sure.
But then to think about it, to use it for our waste dumps and all that. I mean,
yeah. It's a matter, and that's why I keep saying that exposure is what counts. Yeah. It's exposure. In 2008, I went for a conference in Germany, Intergeo, which is a surveyors, that is International Federation of Surveyors. I went for one of their conferences. And during the exhibition, one of the plenary sessions, it was something that was talked about. So I said, well, that would be something to look at. But back then, when I go back to Ghana, 2010, I looked at it and I was just looking at the costs that were involved. And at the time, they were very bulky equipment. So we wondered how, I just kept wondering how that would happen. Then again, funnily again, in 2012, I went to the US and then I saw a drone from Trimble. And I said, okay, well, this is something that looks more manageable. But then they were still, it was in the development stage. And at that time, drones had become something kind of known, but not known for engineering purposes and mapping purposes. They were basically for gaming and playing and stuff like that. Yeah. And then in 2013, I decided that no, I should get a drone. Because again, like I keep saying, it's innovative, it's innovation. I mean, we are trying to find smarter ways of doing what we do. Yeah. And again, for me, reducing my dependency on people for that matter. You get it? So I looked at it from, if I get a drone, fine, we are talking about unemployment. I mean, too bad. I mean, some stuff I mean, but then again, you're employing someone else, you're laying off other people. But at the end of the day, it's the quality of what you deliver to a client. From my perspective, that is what really carries. So works that could be done in about 2 weeks, we could come fly the place in about 2 hours, 3 hours, and you have even much more detailed data that you didn't even expect to get. And for me, that's what actually drove us into getting drones. We are still not there. There are still a few more things we want to achieve with the drone technology as well.
I mean, obviously, the drone innovation has been one of your most important highlights. But then let's trace back a bit. Can you share with us at least about 3 of them very top highlights in your career?
Well, in terms of career, it's been a matter of decision again, because like I tried tracing back, I worked with Siabo Limited, worked with a good team of people out there. Everybody has a role that he has to play, and then we all know that look, in moving forward, you have to start from somewhere. You just make sure you do the right foundations, and from there, I think that's where I found most of my foundations in terms of dealing with people, for that matter, and giving people the chance. I mean, they will prove themselves as to whether they are or they are not. So maybe I'll say that's one of them. The second place was when I decided to get into consulting. Yeah. And that was actually driven by, then again, a poor gold price, and company that I was working for had to fold up. So, I mean, some of us fell by the roadside, and then we said, look, why don't I rather work around it from this perspective? Because look, I keep saying that in every situation, there's an opportunity. In every challenge, there's an opportunity. So, and that is what I actually identified and said, look, even if it's a short period, I mean, for 6 months, I work for a month, at least, I find innovative ways of getting things done quickly, bringing more value to the clients, for that matter. Then in 2007, I was fortunate to, then again, opportunity again. I got in contact with one of the project directors that's doing some work for Golden Star. That's basically that's really my game changer. I mean, from there, we now got a perspective of not just field survey, but engineering solutions for that matter. And driven makes you drive to learn different software, because at the end of the day, it's to deliver a solution. So you evaluate software, you evaluate different criteria for processing data, and all these things come together. And that's how come, and that's what forms the whole thing of moving from one type of equipment to another type of equipment, and then seeing how the client responds to your innovation, seeing how they respond to things that they would normally not have considered.
Going forward, what would you want to say to professionals, like the funding ones, and those who are in the system?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Good question. At the end of the day, like I keep saying, first and foremost, we are accountable to ourselves. That's the foundations. And I believe that in all the things that we do, there are seeds that we sow. You get it. You didn't just get up and come here. I get it. There's something that came to your mind. It's a seed. I mean, it's as a result of a few other things that have come your way. And so at the end of the day, you just have to be mindful of the things that we start with, mindful of the things that we do. And that's, I mean, I would rather say pretty much fundamental to all the things that we become. And then again, in terms of, because of where we are right now, it's a matter of integrity. There are integrity issues, and all these issues are personal. You get it? So it's all, you think about it from the fact that it's a seed that you sow. And as you keep going on, you will bear the fruits. And as you are bearing those fruits, there are still seeds that you sow. So if at the end of the day, you carry out a job and you are supposed to report on it, and you report inaccurately on that particular job, it's a seed you sow. It keeps on and on and on and on. And at the end of the day, the ones that, people that learn from you, that is basically what carries on to them. Because at the end of the day, we found a way around it. At the end of the day, you get a solution, but whether it's a genuine one or whether it's one that really works, it's a question. You get it? So, and that's how I look at it. I mean, for up-and-coming professionals, just be true to yourself. Okay? If you don't want to do this, then don't do it. Because at the end of the day, engineering is a solution. It is life that we play with. At the end of the day, if you do the wrong thing and think that you've gotten by with it, give it 3 years, give it 5 years, even give it 50 years. It still comes out, and you hear of disasters all over the place. Some of them in construction, the process, it happens. Those are the fortunate ones. But sometimes there are things that you would not see. And look, a solution is built for a particular challenge. I mean, and that's basically what it is. So at the end of the day, when that has been done, you should just know that there's documentation that has to cover what was done, what the problem was, and what was done to achieve the solution. Tailor fit it.
Chrys, what's been your motivation?
Well, breath in my nostrils, nothing again. Once I have life, I just have to move on somehow. And look, I always keep saying that it's the difference you make in people's lives, the impact you make on people, is all the things that we'll remember for. As when we leave this earth, the only thing that I remembered about is what you did for people, not what you did for yourself.
No.
I mean, no one remembers that, but at the end of the day, it's what you did for people that makes it. And I hope for me that happens.
Have you ever regretted going into something? Given the opportunity, would you still go for it?
Oh yes. If I had to live a second time, I would still go for something.
We really have to be innovative. We need to know that everything is solution oriented. We have to be always looking out for opportunities. And we should have the ability to learn always. And we be mindful of the things that we do. We need to do everything with integrity. Thanks so much, Chrys, for having us.
You're welcome.